All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And our website where you can listen to the X Zone 724-365 is www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is a gentleman who is very well known throughout the UFO community. His name is Norio Hayakawa. He's led one of the most noted one-man crusades to reveal the true nature of the UFO scenario and how research being conducted inside Area 51 is being done to gain control over humanity by the sinister forces of the New World Order. Norio has spent countless hours camped out near Area 51 and has been repeatedly harassed by civilian authorities and a private organization hired by the military to do their dirty work. Norio has been a UFO researcher investigator since 1961. In 1990, he established the Civilian Intelligence Network, a Citizens Oversight Committee on Government Accountability, a grassroots watchdog group established to help ensure liberty, justice, and freedom of information for all. The website that we're promoting tonight for Norio is facebook.com/area51.us. Joining me now is Norio Hayakawa. And Norio, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you very much, Rob, for having me here tonight in your great program.
Thank you, sir. Norio, you and I have been communicating before we went to air tonight, and we've been talking before we went to air. And you'd like to share something with the worldwide X Zone Nation tonight.
Well, I would like to share the fact that as of this date, that means today, right now, as I'm speaking, I have decided to just depart from this field of ufology for good. In other words, this broadcast or this interview would be my last one of any kind. And I like to use this opportunity to let the people know that I have been investigating UFOs since 1961, and it's a fascinating field. But after more than 53 years of research, I have come to the conclusion that I was chasing something that I can not hold on, and I decided to spend the rest of my life doing more positive things, and so this is the reason why I am abandoning all my research, or actively at least.
53 years investigating UFOs, extraterrestrials, what is going on at Area 51. And you're going to be missed, my friend, because you've done a lot of valuable work over the years. And people know and respect you and your work. So I'm sure I can speak for everyone around the world when I say that you are going to be missed.
Oh, thank you very much. In fact, I have no more knowledge about this phenomenon than when I started in 1961. That's my honest truth.
Wow.
And I can say that I have never, ever been any kind of expert on UFOs. I never have ever claimed that I was an expert on UFOs. And I believe that, of course, some people may think that I have done a lot, but actually I have not contributed anything, as far as I'm concerned, in this strange field. And but I don't regret all these years that I have involved myself in this very fascinating field, which I consider to be very important from the standpoint of human nature and human psychology. I have learned a lot about human nature and psychology, but I have not learned anything about the UFO phenomenon.
Norio, please stand by. You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back. Exo Nation, our special guest this hour on his farewell broadcast is Norio Hayakawa. Now, he said that he learned nothing. He feels he hasn't contributed anything. I disagree with him. He's a very humble person. Because if he hadn't, Area 51 Facebook page would not be the largest page on Facebook about Area 51 as it is. Once again, if you'd like to visit Norio's Facebook page, it's facebook.com/area51.us. And we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we talk to Norio Hayakawa this hour about Area 51, extraterrestrials, UFOs, and much more. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Exo Nation, Norio Hayakawa is our special guest this hour. Facebook.com/area51.us is the website to go to. And Norio, you've camped outside Area 51. You've been harassed by civilian authorities as well as the private organization that has been hired by the government to do their dirty work. Why, after 53 years, are you calling it quits?
Well, I came to the conclusion that, I'm talking about ufology in general, not about Area 51, which is a different subject, but I have come to the conclusion that I have not gotten anywhere in ufology. And during my 53 years of research, I have interviewed hundreds and hundreds of witnesses on UFO sightings. I interviewed many people who claim to have been abducted. I visited many locations of interest throughout the United States, and I even traveled to South America. But as I told you, my conclusion is that this is just like a study about God. Like I told you, I am not an expert on UFOs. Because if you say one is an expert on UFOs, it's almost like saying that one person is an expert on God.
Right.
Because this is a subject matter that nobody has come to any conclusion. The phenomenon seems to be real, no question about it. But when you come to the main issue, we have not seen any dramatic evidence of any physical extraterrestrial visitation, and that's my honest opinion. Now, the question is, do I believe in extraterrestrials?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sure that extraterrestrials are there somewhere in space, and I believe firmly that most likely we are not the only intelligent species in this whole cosmos. However, that's a totally different question when the question is addressed as to whether we have ever been visited by extraterrestrial entities in extraterrestrial physical spacecraft of any kind. And that's where I stand with my conclusion which is that I am very skeptical about this. Now, I'm not skeptical about other topics which are popular in today's ufology, namely underground bases, including Area 51 and the alleged Dulce underground base. allegedly right next to Dulce, New Mexico. Now, what I mean is that I believe that underground bases are a fact, and it's part of America's military strategy to create underground levels in military bases. That's common sense, especially with the rise of satellite technology and so on.
Right.
It's common sense, so I don't deny that there are underground bases, military bases, but again, when it comes to another issue, that is, do I believe in any underground alien bases on Earth? I'm highly skeptical. I'm also highly skeptical about the supposition that all these bases, such as Area 51 and, NORAD in Colorado and Los Alamos in New Mexico and the alleged Dulce base in New Mexico, are all connected underground by a huge network of tunnels. I am kind of skeptical about that, even though I believe that there are underground tunnels connecting various technical areas, for example, inside or under Los Alamos National Laboratory. But I am skeptical about the intercontinental underground tunnel systems.
One of the most famous cases surrounding the underground base or the deep underground military bases is the conspiracy or the case surrounding Philip Schneider. Now, on TV a couple of weeks ago, there's a show called Hangar One. They did a segment on Philip Schneider where he was apparently in an underground base near Dulce, New Mexico, and he ran into a group of aliens that were in this underground base. I agree with you when it comes to the existence of extraterrestrials. I agree with you that there's a lot of skepticism and statements being made that are unsubstantiated by anything concrete. So why do you think, Norio, that these cases, like the case of Philip Schneider, who there are those who believe he was murdered and he actually had encounters with extraterrestrials and so on. Why do you think these cases live on?
Well, actually, there's a need for humanity to hold on to some belief. Mm-hmm. It's part of human nature. And there are many, many, many stories that have been imagined by lots of people, especially in the field of ufology. It's a psychological need for somebody to create a story, and most of these stories are based on personal accounts. And personal accounts, no matter how reliable it can be, is still just personal accounts of individuals. And in case of Phil Schneider, I'm very skeptical of his claims because not only because I have not seen any concrete physical documentary evidence whatsoever about his purported involvement with the government and so on. I am very skeptical. Not only that, but I have talked to a person, Charles Wright, who knows Phil Schneider's brother, and Phil Schneider's brother confirmed to him that Phil Schneider has had an illness, a psychological illness. In fact, he told my friend that his brother, namely the Phil Schneider, had a kind of a self-inflicting sickness, psychological sickness, and he has had a tendency to inflict himself. And but the main thing is that he just just felt like, well, maybe he thinks he's speaking reality, but it's a induced reality. Whether he induced it on himself or not, I don't know. Or he could have been manipulated or mind controlled by somebody or some group, or I don't know, to create this story.
Now, I've seen videos, both on YouTube and those that have been sent here to us, where Philip Schneider shows a scar on his chest that he claims he received from a weapon that the extraterrestrials discharged at him. How do we explain this?
Well, I'm sure that there are prosaic answers. And the conclusion about Phil Schneider is that a friend of mine, who no longer is here, the late Gabe Valdez, who used to be the New Mexico State Patrol officer in charge of Dulce, New Mexico for many years, he investigated the Phil Schneider's death, and he got in touch with the coroner and all that, and he has a document, and his son, Greg Valdez, also has a document stating that this was a suicide and not a murder. And that's all I can say. Plus, his wife was definitely claiming for some kind of a policy,
Right.
Insurance policy, and her main interest was financial benefit.
Sure, because if it was a suicide, the policy wouldn't
I
pay.
hate to talk about these things because it's irrelevant to what I have been saying. That, first of all, I have not seen any physical, credible, tangible evidence of any extraterrestrial alien entities in extraterrestrial physical spacecraft of any kind. Nowhere I haven't seen any proof about that. So why should I go into the subject of extraterrestrial confrontation or conflagration under the supposed underground base in Dulce, New Mexico? I have no interest in that kind of a thing.
I understand, and I agree with you fully, because when I was able to do the research that we did here, one of the red flags that we first noticed was the wife's interest in changing the coroner's report, because, like you said, suicide, you don't get paid your insurance, where murder or a questionable death you do. Great having you with us. I look forward to the rest of the hour with you, Norio. Please stand by. Exonation, our guest this hour is Norio Hayakawa. This is his final radio broadcast when it comes to Area 51. He's retiring after 53 years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of interviews. He's done research on Area 51. He's done research on underground bases. He's done research on Roswell, New Mexico, and the list goes on. When we come back from our news break, on the other side of this news break with some words from our fine sponsors, we'll continue. In fact, I'm going to ask Norio two questions. Number one, his opinion on Area 51, and number two, because of his extensive research into Area 51, what's the truth behind Bob Lazar? This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and around the world on the X Zone Broadcast Network and our fine family of broadcast affiliates worldwide. We'll be back on the other side of this very short break with the news as Norio Hayakawa and I continue talking about UFOs, aliens, Area 51, and much more. Check out Norio on Facebook. Like him on Facebook at facebook.com area51.us. Don't go away. Exonation, don't forget we have an online petition at www.stopebolapetition.com. What we want to do is stop people from entering Canada or re-entering Canada from the hotspot African nations where Ebola is either suspected or there are confirmed cases. Now, this isn't just for visitors. I'm talking about Canadians coming back too. Until this threat has been eradicated totally, I believe, and I'm hearing a lot of great things from our other affiliates around the world, where they think this is a great idea. Just shut the borders down to these people until Ebola has been eradicated. Now, I know I've been called a racist by some members of the media. I don't think I'm a racist. I'm not a racist. I have never been a racist. What I am is I'm a proud Canadian who wants to make sure that Canada is strong and free. I understand that these people, because they're Canadians, have the right to come back in. But when it comes to national security, or if it comes to bringing in an illness, a virus, I think that this is where we draw the line. I'm sorry, this is what I believe. And when you sign our petition at www.stopebolapetition.com, it automatically goes to the Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, the Director, the Minister of Public Safety, Stephen Blaney. It also goes to members of Parliament. All they can do is say, well, geez, you know what? We're not interested. But what we can do as citizens is we, the people. It's not I, the person. It's we, the people. www.stopebolapetition.com. Norio Hayakawa is our special guest this hour, and his website is facebook.com/area51.us. Norio, Bob Lazar, what's the real story?
Well, the real story is this. Bob Lazar is definitely a highly intelligent individual with tremendous knowledge of various kinds of weapon systems. And definitely he continues to conduct business with defense contractors indirectly through his website. But he has become a very important personality insofar as Area 51. Remember that Area 51 has definitely become a cultural symbol, and it has become an important part of America's culture that includes beliefs and research and studies and so on. And Area 51 is now deeply integrated in the American pop culture, and therefore it's has created a lot of misunderstandings. But the fact is, Area 51 is a humongous military research, development, and testing complex in Nevada, employing anywhere from 1,800 to 2,200 employees, even at this moment, and conducted by at least a dozen defense contractors such as Raytheon and Boeing and Lockheed, General Atomics, and you name it. There are about a dozen contractors present at this time in Area 51, and it's really an open secret. It's one of the most open secrets in America, but there is a lot of misunderstanding about Area 51. Now, the popular question about Area 51 is naturally, is there any alien technology over there? Because Bob Lazar claimed in 1989 that he had worked on reverse engineering of extraterrestrial craft over there at Area 51. By the way, let me explain to some of the audience that reverse engineering actually is a term that was invented by the military to describe working on recreating the enemy's weapon systems and aircraft and so on. That's called reverse engineering. The term foreign technology division. Foreign technology has nothing to do with extraterrestrial technology. Foreign technology division basically means that the United States was interested in acquiring technologies of enemy nations during the World War II and so on. That's called a foreign technology. nothing to do with aliens. And reverse engineering means just recreating the enemy aircraft, such as the MiG aircraft that the United States acquired during the Cold War.
Yes.
And so these terminologies have caused misunderstanding among some people. Now, my opinion is that Bob Lazar was instrumental in the creation of the alien connection to Area 51. That's the basic premises that I have come to, all these years. And there's nothing mysterious about Area 51 except that the Air Force has benefited from the association of this important military facility with alien technology, thus bringing a laughter curtain to this very important subject. I'm interested in Area 51 simply because it's part of our hard-earned tax dollars, and we have every right to know what is really going on with our hard-earned tax dollars at places such as this. And my main interest in Area 51 has always been not about the secret programs or black budgets and so on, but about making sure that our hard-earned tax dollars are not being used to create environmental hazards and destroying our environment. The biggest problem with any kind of black projects programs is how to take care of waste matters and waste materials, chemicals, nuclear wastes, and all these items. In fact, they have not thought of, prior to creation of black projects, how to dispose of these substances. And now it's kind of too late, as far as I'm concerned. They have had to throw these matters into, into open spaces and you name it. That's the biggest headache of American black project programs.
Roswell, New Mexico seems to be the mecca for the UFO community. What, in your opinion, really did or did not happen at Roswell, New Mexico in 1947?
Well, Roswell was a location where something went awry. And by something, I'm talking about a military project going awry. The United States military has been conducting lots of tests ever since 1945. After World War II, in 1945, the U.S. brought hundreds and hundreds of German scientists and rocket engineers and also biologists from Germany in a program called Operation Paperclip. And these hundreds of scientists and engineers and biologists came to New Mexico, and many of them were transferred to White Sands Missile Ranges, and some of them were transferred north to Los Alamos National Laboratories. But in the southern area, namely the White Sands area, the United States military began to conduct many experiments with rocketry and other weapon systems. The Germans were very smart in creating other kind of aircraft, for example, the flying wing aircraft and prototypes of other aircraft. And it's my understanding, and it's my belief also, that the United States military acquired some of these from the Operation Paperclip. And so it's my opinion that many kinds of tests were conducted in the American Southwest, and possibly something went awry and something crashed and some accident took place, and the creation of the alien crash landing story was a brilliant concoction created, I believe, by the military. In my opinion, a highly advanced, intelligent entities from highly advanced civilization from outer space would never have such thing as a physical crash. Uh, this is why I'm very highly skeptical about any kind of alien crash, alien spaceship crash ever.
One of the red flags when I did my investigation on the Roswell crash, Norio, was something that I haven't read in any book or on any website or when I've interviewed any of the researchers who claim to be experts on the Roswell crash. And as a former police officer, I found this very strange. You've got Jesse Marcel goes out to the Brazel Ranch, picks up all this debris. He thinks he has something here that is strange, bizarre, and possibly not from this world because of the strange writing that was found on some of these pieces. What does he do? As the base intelligence officer, he should have just gotten into his Jeep, secured his evidence, and gone right back to the base and taken care of his evidence. But what does he do? He goes home, wakes up his wife and kid, and lets them play with the evidence. Then he takes it back to the base. To me, this is the part of the entire story that shows it has nothing to do with reality.
I agree with you totally, Rob. I have really no interest in Roswell. There are many other locations in New Mexico where I reside that have more interesting, matters. For example, in northern New Mexico, in Farmington, and Socorro, New Mexico. There are many, many locations in New Mexico that deserve more attention than Roswell. And so I live in New Mexico right now, and even though I am retiring from any more researches or actively engaging myself in UFO research, I'm still interested in these cases. For example, what happened on April 24th, 1964, outside of Socorro, New Mexico,
Yes.
the famous Lonnie Zamora incident, which is still not resolved. I'm interested in the 1950 incident over Farmington, New Mexico, whereby hundreds and hundreds of citizens witnessed for 3 days in a row, every day around noontime, hundreds and hundreds of silver, metallic, disc-shaped objects maneuvering over the city. I'm interested in the allegation of an underground facility near Dulce, New Mexico. These are, I believe, there are some basis for these reports. And my conclusion, as well as the conclusion of the late Gabe Valdez, New Mexico State Highway Patrol officer, is that there's nothing alien about these locations or these incidents, especially when it comes to Dulce, New Mexico. I believe that there is a prosaic answer. For example, to really summarize Dulce, I believe it was a temporary off-site aircraft test facility located just north of Dulce, right next to the Colorado border, and probably located in disguise right next to or inside a private ranch. When it comes to the Socorro incident of 1964, many naysayers have come up with a story that this was a hoax created by some students of New Mexico Institute of Technology, I guess the New Mexico Tech students that created this balloon and deceived Lonnie Zamora. But I don't believe that. I believe that Lonnie Zamora incident was an incident that deserves more scrutiny. And in fact, Dr. Alan Hynek spent many, many hours and days, actually, with this case, and he put a official stamp of approval of the authenticity of this incident. The big question is whether Lonnie Samora actually witnessed an extraterrestrial spacecraft or a spacecraft of some kind of our own. That's the question. And as far as I'm concerned, there are no extraterrestrial spacecraft of any kind. So the conclusion is that he had witnessed something from our government in 1964.
We've got about 30 seconds left in this segment. Tell me, Norio, what do you think Kenneth Arnold saw?
Kenneth Arnold saw what appeared to be wedge-shaped or manta ray-shaped object flying over Mount Rainier. And he never saw any flying saucer. He saw a delta-shaped object floating or flying or skipping over the mountain range, Mount Rainier, in 1947.
All right, Norio, please stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. X Zone Nation, Norio Hayakawa is my very special guest. This is his farewell broadcast. And Norio, from everybody who's listening to the show and who has known you and respects you, we wish you well, my friend. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour of the X Zone with our very special guest, Norio Hayakawa. We'll be back. Don't go away. X Zone Nation, Norio Hayakawa is our special guest this hour. This is his farewell broadcast on radio. And he's going to keep his website, his Facebook page up, I should say, at facebook.com/area51.us. First of all, Norio, again, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for your many years of research. And when it comes to reverse engineering, I have my own little way of disproving it when it comes to extraterrestrial craft from other planets. Here we are in the year 2014. We're still using old technology in our rockets. We're still spending months and months getting to Mars. If we did, in fact, have reversed engineering from extraterrestrial spacecraft, wouldn't this be incorporated into present-day rocketry? And wouldn't NASA be using this instead of spending billions upon billions upon billions to get to a dead planet?
Exactly. You hit it right on the nail.
Yeah.
Many of the items that we possess, for example, the SR-71 and so on, and these aircraft are still can still be used, and in fact, even though they retired allegedly F-117 aircraft, they still use them because, as you said, if we ever had any kind of alien technology, we would not be using these conventional things.
Yeah.
And so there is my as you said, a proof that we have not acquired anything extraordinary.
Plus, do you really think the extraterrestrials invented Tang? Now, come on, gang. Listen, Norio, we're coming to the end of this hour very fast. Too fast, as a matter of fact. But I've got to throw you an oddball question. We're coming up to the month of November, and it's known for two things. Number one, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior, but also the assassination of JFK. Who do you really think killed JFK?
Well, it's a hard question. I am skeptical about the orchestrated conspiracy by a nefarious cabal of any group. I haven't seen any evidence linking to that, but I don't know. Conspiracy theories are part of America's culture. It's just as American as apple pie. And the fact that Americans are fascinated with conspiracy theories is because conspiracy theories bring comfort to a lot of people. Conspiracy theories bring comfort to those who are against the government in many ways. And, this is related to UFOs. UFOs have become part of conspiracy, the cover-up and so on. But as far as I'm concerned, the government has not tried to intentionally cover up any UFO items. That's my honest opinion. Now, I am definitely, I believe that there is a possibility that we are not alone in this universe. Most likely we are not alone. I have told people hundreds of times. But yet, the main argument when it comes to UFOs is that there has to be hundreds and hundreds of intelligent civilizations outside. So, but this does not have anything to do with UFOs.
Right.
Because most logical-minded astronomers and scientists of the world believe the possibility that there could be microbes and microorganisms in the universe, in the space, and even nearby Earth.
Norio, I hate to do this, but we've run out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to having you back on the show. Please don't be a stranger, and thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, my friend. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.